So if anybody needs to unmute themselves for any reason, you could press *6, and then to remute yourself, you could press *6 again. But once again, thank you for being on this 21-day detox call. We'll do one more clap for everybody. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 21 days. Well, it's not over yet. Tomorrow is the last day, right?
Yes. Measurements and weigh-ins.
Yeah, measurements and weigh-ins. We want to make sure that happens. This call is all about finishing strong and going beyond, right? Going beyond. How are you going to stay healthy, stay committed to yourself inside of your own lifestyle, right? Because that's what you're doing here. You're creating a fitness lifestyle for yourself. And a fitness lifestyle isn't something that you create and then it's just, okay, I'm done. Like, it's just going to go on its own now. No, it's like a relationship. It's like getting married and then being like, well, now I'm done. It's just, the relationship's just going to go on its own now. No, you still got to bring flowers. You still got to, do a surprise date night every once in a while. And you're still going to have ups and downs inside of the relationship. But at the end of the day, you're working on that relationship. And so goes the relationship with your health. So goes the relationship you have with food. The relationship that you have with your emotional patterns and how you're developing inside of that. So if you haven't realized by now, you've probably seen it all along this 21-day detox, as Coach Anthony and I are really into the self-development, the self-growth aspect of this 21 days, right? So it's just so much more than just a change in eating, so much more. And I think people get involved with this 21 days just because, they know they need a change, they know that they need to lose some weight. But I think that as people get into it, then they realize, wow, this is more transformative than I ever would have thought possible. I know that is that way for me, and just so many of our clients have given us feedback throughout the years that we've been doing it, Coach. So, Coach, what would you say is the best way to now, first we'll talk about finishing strong. What does the listener on the line need to do to be able to finish strong this last 2 days? What do they need to do to make this a completion where they know that they completed it right, no matter what the ups and downs were, that they got the best out of this? What mindset do they need and what do they need to take?
Well, the mindset, I thank you, Coach Forrest. Thank you so much. It's amazing, the 21-day detox and what's been going on and how people have been, us as just people in general, we're all being progressive. And when I say people, we're speaking of myself included with Coach Forrest. It's all about progression. And so I would say that, to finalize this process is to really to understand that it's not final. It's a lifestyle. And inside of that mindset, of having that is understanding, too, is that there is no perfection, rather progression. So as you go into these next couple of days, how are you going to progressively get better, right, progressively move forward? What does that look like? You could have had ups and downs throughout this process as far as eating is concerned, right? And, what we do see on, prior detoxes, because we've done well over 10 of them, and they've been amazing, is that, you have some types of 21-day detoxers where they felt like they needed to be perfect throughout the whole process, whatever perfect means, and so they'll quit after a day or they'll quit after a week or 2 weeks, and just go, oh, I'm done. And then you have, the other detoxer that goes, you know what, hey, I've had the ups and downs, I maybe haven't ate right every single day, but I'm getting back on, and they understand that it's a journey. And then you have another detoxer where, the last one is that they followed it the whole way through, right? And they didn't add anything or take anything away, right? And I think the last two are really winners.
Yeah.
The other one is not winning in that situation. And so I think the mindset is that in these last 2 days is just to win, be progressive, and be in that group of the two. And I think and I'll end with this, I think one of the most important things is taking responsibility, right? I think it's very powerful that you take responsibility. Obviously we're all adults. And so, but at the end of the day, there is a lot of adults that don't take full-on responsibility. So taking full-on responsibility, to me, looks like this inside of the 21-day detox is I'm never going to have all the answers to the questions, right? And I think that's a person that takes on full-on responsibility.
Coach, in the manual it said that the quinoa was allowed, and then in another spot it said the quinoa wasn't allowed. Which is it? You ruined my whole detox, Coach.
Yeah.
You ruined it.
Yes.
Right? Is that what you mean?
And that's how it sounds. I mean, it really does sound funny. And it may not come out with a voice like that, but those types of things, really, right? As coaches, right? It sounds funny to me because we're all adults.
Yeah.
And so when we're an adult, we already need to take responsibility for the process that we step in, and understanding that it's determined by our effort. It's not determined by a program, or it's not determined by a typo, or it's not determined by – those things shouldn't be determined by that.
Like you got to make it your own, right?
Yeah, you've got to make it your own, and that's the way it should be in life, right? But it's not like that for everybody. But I would say when you're winning in any endeavor, right, we always put this in life, but in the 21-day detox is that you're taking responsibility, right? And you're not putting it on a person, you're not putting it on a program or anything else on the reason why, what the first person would do is quit, in a sense, right? And so you're always winning, right? And you're really winning in these next 2 days is just, taking responsibility for where you're at right now, and then moving forward and progressing, not perfection, but progressing in that. So what does that look like, right? I think it looks like, as you go into today, especially it being, they call it Halloween, and they call it all these. We all have holidays every single week, right? I mean, in America,
every day's a holiday.
Right, in the American culture, right, if someone gets an A on their test, right, the reason why we get 50 or 100 people together, right,
like
to party.
Today is National Cake Day, and on National Cake Day, you got to eat your cake, and you got to buy a Hallmark card on National Cake Day, and then we got National Brownie Day tomorrow. So you better get on board with that,
And there's all these days, right? And so, we can call this day whatever it is. That they call it Halloween, right? But then, Thanksgiving's going to come up, so we'll call it whatever. Yeah. And then what's next weekend? But the fact of the matter is
the birthday parties, the weddings, the quinceañeras, all the everything.
Right? And so now it's just coming into it with a plan, right? I mean, we already have a plan, the 21-day detox. It's right there. If you need to access it again, access it on your phone. Flip over the foods, right? And start that process continually, day by day, and especially in these next 2 days, because you're definitely going to need a plan today, because you're probably going to be around family, you're probably going to be around friends, and they're going to probably ask you why. Why aren't you eating chocolate, or why aren't, but like I said, it's all throughout life.
And part of that, Coach, because they feel guilty within themselves that they're eating these kind of foods?
I think that's a great question. I think that us as human beings, we're more intertwined with the story that's going inside of ourselves. So we're more, in lack of a better term, selfish in the story of ourselves. What we've created. At the end of the day, though, we do say certain things, like, why aren't you eating the chocolate, right? Why aren't you eating the cake,
right.
Grandma or whatever will say that, right? And it becomes an emotional thing, because in America, a lot of everything that we're doing is with food, right?
It's almost like you disrespected somebody by not eating the cake.
Yes.
Or not eating the chocolate bar at the Halloween party. You disrespected the host, and that's how we feel inside a lot of the time.
That's how we feel, and really, I think for the other person, even though sometimes they may say it out loud, well, why didn't they eat this? Why didn't they do this? Really, they're not going on with that story any longer. Maybe for 10 or 15 minutes or whatever.
It's more of a habitual thing, but they didn't take it maybe personally, like for the long run.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you stay true inside of yourself, and you stay with integrity inside of what you're doing, at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt anybody else. And they're not going to, it's not. Yeah. I mean, you have to be you.
You have to be you.
Yeah.
And that's what's so critical, and when it comes down to fitness and it comes down to the 21-day detox, right, is having that mindset that it really does come down to you. And that goes back to the responsibility. So even though a family member could get hurt or whatever it is, we can't use them as an excuse on why we don't do what we've already committed to. And if we end up not using it as an excuse, but end up doing that, right, that we know that we weren't supposed to do, now it's not time to beat ourselves up. Now it's time to go, okay, it's okay. It's a process, and jump back on board.
Yes.
Right? So I hope that makes sense.
That's excellent, Coach. I'm glad you said that, and those are some huge points. I'd like to go into talking about transitioning, too, because, after the 21-day detox, people are going to be transitioning back to eating dairy and those types of things, and maybe eating different types of carbs that do have more sugar, and that's fine. You're going to transition and you're going to get back into your normal lifestyle, but it's going to be more balanced because now you've picked up some healthy habits. You're more aware of the foods and what they do to your emotional and mental state, your energetic state. And so what we want to do is, as you're transitioning out, a good thing to do is not dive right into a whole bunch of junk food. Like, what I would not recommend is just going to like Taco Bell or McDonald's and just doing like the hamburger, fries, Coke thing, and then ice cream and the pizza, and then just doing it all in one day. I mean, you could end up with some digestion difficulties with that. Yeah, I mean, it's just asking for trouble because it's going to be like a shock to the body, right? So what we suggest is add these foods back in slowly. And what I have found is, like, if you add in like one group of foods per day, like say the first, if you've been doing it vegetarian style, then you'll add in meat, like one day, for example. If you've been doing it with meat, you'll add in maybe dairy, okay? And do dairy, just add dairy in, and see what it does to your energy, your digestion, just how you feel over the course of the day, and journal it. Coach Anthony is always reminding us to journal, and that's so critical. So how do you feel? And what you're trying to do is expose any possible food intolerances that you may have. So example is bread, right? You may be going back to bread. Well, you have now gluten, right? And maybe you have a gluten intolerance, or maybe you don't, And I'm not saying there's so much debate about gluten, but I believe it comes back to the individual. What do you feel good with? Well, if you're really in tune with your body and you can eat a certain food, you'll know if it affects you. Just pay attention. Your digestion. How do you feel? Your energy levels. Do you feel more sleepy after you eat certain things, or do you feel more alive and vibrant? Or do you get headachy or body achy? Just so really pay attention to these types of cues and start to journal it. And then if you find that, say, if you bring back dairy and all of a sudden your digestion's messed up, your stomach is all messed up, then maybe you had an intolerance all along and it created some bloat. And, oh, man, the digestion. Oh, no, what's going on? Well, that's what happens when you eat too much coconut oil, right? So bring back the foods slowly and over time, and reintroduce them, journal it, and see if you have any food intolerances. That's step number one, okay? Step number two is get in all your final measurements. You want to document where you're at, whether you upload it to the portal that was included, and we're still fine-tuning some of the tech side of stuff, so if you have any difficulties, just email your before and after photos and your measurements and your weight.
What email?
Just email it to me, Forrest, Forrest, at wayoflifebootcamp.com. That's Forrest at wayoflifebootcamp.com, and I'll take care of that for you. So just email me your final stuff, or if you're local, come in tomorrow, Sunday, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. We're going to have our whole staff there, ready to go, measurements, photos, the whole nine. So, we're excited that you guys finished it. Congratulations. This is awesome. As we get into the rest of the call, we're going to talk about how to finish strong and continue to stay within the lifestyle of health and fitness. But I do want to mention this. This here is very, very important, okay? And it goes for, I'm speaking to myself with this. Coach Anthony, I know vibes with this, is comparison, right? Comparison is the killer of all joy, okay? Comparison is the killer of all joy. Remember that, because if you live your life comparing yourself to other people, man, you've just, you know what I mean? You've just negated everything that you're doing right. You've just negated everything all the great stuff that you're doing moving forward, right? And you're putting yourself underneath a rock. Right? It's underneath the rock that Crystal was exercising with, and she threw it down and had to kick it out of the way when she was doing the jump squat side to side in that video. So you have to not compare yourself. So if you lost 1 pound, or if you lost 21 pounds, or somewhere in between, 10 pounds, 7 pounds, 4 pounds, even if you gained weight, what did you learn? What habits did you gain? What insight did you gain? And how are you moving forward? Those are the questions that we found create winners, create successful people that are able to maintain and sustain a healthy lifestyle. And that's what it comes back to, is there's winning and there's learning. There is not winning and losing, okay? You got to get that idea out of your head. There's winning and there's learning. So we're always learning. We're always going forward. And that's what people do that are making huge strides in their life, Think about
the responsibility trait of a successful person.
That is
winning and learning.
You have to be able to. It's like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you think of Ronda Rousey, the MMA champion, they didn't even have women's mixed martial arts in the UFC
before.
Dan
laughed about
before
it.
Ronda.
I'll never have women's stuff.
Yeah,
the owner.
Yeah, the owner. I'll never have women's stuff until Ronda Rousey came along. She had been working on her game over the years to a world-class athlete that can beat most men in her weight division, and so she, but has all along had that trait of not comparing herself to others and winning inside of herself by failing forward and doing those types of things, so that when somebody does tap you out when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you don't go, oh man, I lost, and you walk out of the room and you quit. No, I learned something there. I just was defeated in that one little battle, but I'm still able to continue on inside of this. So that's the mindset, is don't compare yourself to others. Know that, I hate when people say, oh, I only lost 3 pounds. You only lost 3 pounds? You were gaining 3 pounds a month before this.
Yep.
If you were to continue gaining 3 pounds a month at the end of the year, where would you be? You'd be close to 40 pounds heavier. You know what I mean? But now you're going in the other direction. You didn't only lose 3 pounds.
Wow, that's amazing.
3 pounds of fat is I would say, what is it? 5 pounds of fat is equivalent to 3 small grapefruits in size. So that's just to understand that. Think about 3 small grapefruits, right? What that looks like, and put it and just go ahead and put it by your stomach, and just imagine that just melting off. Yeah, right. And, there's been people that have done the detox with us 1 time, 2 times, 3, 4, 5 times. And it's like Coach said, it's a journey. And we're going to be offering the detox all throughout the next year, probably every month. So it's something you can keep coming back to every month or every other month and realign yourself with health, get back on track, because we need that too. That's why we created the 21-day detox, because we need it in our lives to get realigned and stay congruent with our health and fitness. Because as coaches, totally honest, coach, you eat nothing but organic 100% of the time, produce perfectly?
No, not at all.
No? Or no. What do you do when you're on your regular life?
Regular life, I think it's a great question, is that, I just stay progressive, and I take responsibility, and I learn. It's kind of like how you said, when we come back off the 21-day, or, come off the 21-day detox, if we start adding different types of foods, if we want to add them, really be mindful of what they're doing, energy level, right? So you write that down. Really be mindful of how you feel, right? When you allow dairy or these different types of things. And then after that, if you're seeing that these things aren't working for you, right, because now you've detoxified and cleaned out your body and organs, right, you're getting healthier, then maybe those are things that you maybe don't want. Whatever that is, it's your choice. And I think for me, too, as well, that's what happens. That's why I always come back to the detox, right, because I'll have those times where, definitely, just on everyday life, having chocolate-covered pretzels, right? Or, you know what I mean? Or I'll have some yogurt, and put some extra, cookies and cream on there with chocolate chip cookie dough.
Oh,
right?
That sounds good.
And pack it, and almost pack it to where because that person's still in me that was 305 pounds, right? So sometimes I emotionally eat. Yeah. And, and what happens is that when I do that, I get myself, I'm in that mindset of that person that's 305 pounds. Right. Or the Anthony 305 pounds. And what happens with that is I just pound and pound and pound and pound. And so that competitiveness is no longer inside myself, right? It goes into that person that was 305 pounds that was competing against others. Yeah. Right? And that person was on drugs, alcohol at that time too for me. So it was like, how much can I drink? So if I'm drinking, maybe it's not alcohol for me now because I chose not to do that for myself. It doesn't work for me. Right. But what I'll do is, it'll be lemonade. Yeah. Or high sugar. Right. Which we can, for me, I can almost say sugar is really worse than cocaine. Right?
Yeah.
That's just my thought. And we could do some research on that and have a call on that later. But on the other hand, though, drinking is so. What am I drinking 7 glasses of lemonade for? What's going on that? Because I'm in that old mindset, right? So those types of things happen to me, but, not too often anymore, but everyday life, for sure. There's going to be those times where, I'm going to, overindulge, eat, and do those types of things. But I don't beat myself up anymore.
Yeah.
When I start to beat myself up, I look at my journaling. I look at what I'm doing in that process and just understanding that, once again, this clean eating plan is going to be here for me again.
Right.
Really, you know what I'm saying? Because I think when we said detox, because really it's a catchy word, right? But if we press a button on the internet, we're like in the most information inclined society ever in this world ever, right?
Yeah.
So at a tip of a button, we can look detox, and a million detoxes will come up.
Right.
And so whatever the perception is for a person on what a detox is, it could be anything from drinking cayenne pepper with water for 40 days to juices, eating bread and water.
Yeah,
right?
there's so many different detoxes. What is a detox? Now you guys understand what the Way of Life 21-day detox is.
And it's clean eating.
It's clean eating, yes.
Eating all these great foods. And so now this is something that can be done year-round to reset yourself. You can't go year-round and drink bread and water.
No.
You can't go year-round and do a cayenne pepper. Not saying that those things are bad or anything else. I'm just saying you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't. You physically cannot do that.
You can do this detox most of the time for life.
For sure, and that's why I come back to it plenty of times, and that's why a lot of boot campers and just clients all across the world, right, come back to it time and time and time again, right? Because it's like you said, it's a time to be able to center themselves, and go, okay, hey, I'm going to get on a I guess for lack of a better term, I hate to say it, so a regiment.
Right.
But yeah, we all need that in our lives too. So.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be anybody that's taken the detox. We'll have some type of promo code where you get a percentage off of the next one. And some people are like, well, I still have the materials, so I don't need to pay, right? But no, that's your commitment. That's part of your commitment, and that's getting you into the group access with the coaching calls, and all the things that surround the 21-day detox. But with that said, once you've signed up here, are part of a family for life. You'll always be on this alumni group 21-day detox page. When we do the next detox, when it goes live, we'll have a secondary page where just those people that are in it go to, where all the discussion is. But you're going to be access to what's called the alumni page for life, and which is going to be there for you as a resource. The whole community, the coaches, everything. So you've definitely made a great investment in yourself and your health by going with us, because we are always going to be here for you, no matter what. And as you progress inside of your own health, and you go through different changes in your own mindset, you may be looking for more. You may be looking for how to expand or how to realign, and we're going to be here for you to do that. So it's going to be ongoing coaching. Let's see. So to finish out, Coach, any thing that you wanted to say to kind of finish out?
Well, I can only say something. I just think that this call was, you hit every point that needed to be hit. And I guess the last thing I could add to this is that everything doesn't happen in 21 days. So going back real quickly just to the process, and I'll say this in 3 minutes, Coach, and if I don't say it in 3 minutes, just cut me off, okay? So the process, right, it goes back to a process, and this should be for you, in which I really believe it is for you, a journey, and it's a lifetime journey to create a lifestyle. And so how do we do that? There's a guy named Jim Rohn, amazing man, that now has passed on. He's in self-development. He says, you are the 5 people that you are around the most. You're the sum of them, physically, financially, attitude-wise, all these different, these things that are really helpful. And so if that's the case, right, you need to continue on. You need to continue on with this. You need to continue on and put yourself inside of a program of people that are accountable. If you came to the boot camp and you were doing it, for 21 days, and you did the boot camp plus the detox. And if you really think in your mind that, and this is just being a coach, if you really think in your mind that you've got it all down in 21 days, and then now you can just, go off and, do walks in between lunch and do some burpees or whatever it is, and not commit yourself to a program that's already working for you with people that are forward moving, that are basically doing the same thing as you and wanting to really change their life, right? Then you should entrench yourself and commit to the boot camp, right? You should commit to what you committed in the beginning and continue that process on. Because all it's going to do is just get better in that journey. Yes, there's ups and downs, but once again, you're the 5 people you're around the most. So if you're wanting to release pounds and at the end of the day get a stronger mindset, better energy throughout your whole day and the rest of your life and every relationship, then you entrench yourself in the program, then stay and stick to the program and continue on it, because you're going to have people that will for sure keep you accountable. There's no question about it, right? It's not, I'm going to do this with my friend, and and they're going to call me and we'll work out and do all these types of things. That falls through the cracks so many times. Why do you think there's so many people with New Year's resolutions, or you think about the big box gym mentality? Like these big CEOs and these big box gyms understand that 90% of the people are going to pay for going to the gym, but they're not going to even come. There's only 10% that really come, but they make their money off the 90%.
The donor members.
They call them donor members.
Yeah.
And we know that because we're in the still.
Yeah.
But I think there's a donor member in every program that a person wants to change in their life.
Right.
So I'll just end it with that. We're just so excited for you, and just so excited that you committed yourself to a process for 21 days and to the Way of Life 21-day detox. And, all the best. All the best.
Yeah, you guys have done phenomenal. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us. This has been an incredible 21 days. I've learned a lot from the process, from coaching you guys. I know Coach Anthony's learned a lot from the process.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to come back at it full force in 2016 with the detox in January. We'll let you know. We'll post it up. And just keep on doing what you're doing. Don't beat yourself up when things go wrong. Love yourself. I would say if I were to end with anything, it's learn to love yourself because, you are your own best friend. You are the one that's going to be there. Your body, you only have one body in this life, okay? Take care of it. Treat yourself well. Treat yourself with love. When you start to do that, you're able to love other people. You're able to take care of these other people in your life that you love. And even the ones that are toxic people in your life, you'll have more strength to be able to deal with them because you're dealing with them from a full cup, not an empty cup.
More compassion.
Yeah, you'll have more compassion. You'll have more patience. You'll have more presence. You'll have more love, more gratitude. So continue on with what you're doing. We are so proud and blessed and thankful that you are a part of this 21-day detox with us, the whole team. I know the coaches, Coach Steven. I want to thank Gabby, Carlos, Dana, Vanessa, Lindsay, Mandy. There's so many amazing people that we want to thank. Our wives. Arlene and Nicole and our kids who've been so supportive and part of the detox, and people like Heather and Cherie, and we can go on and on. Melissa, we can go on literally forever with thank yous, but just know that we are so grateful and thankful, and we'll be back at it. Yeah! 21-day detoxers, finish strong, keep going strong. You guys rock. Thank you very much.